Greater than anyway. Greater than have a great night, Chris. Greater than you too. Jen. Greater than okay, I want to show you what it is supposed to look like on the day a president of the United States sees their signature. Legislation passed. Greater than through one house of Congress. Greater than it must be a bagel. Greater than oh. Greater than that's it. Greater than yeah. Greater than so that was the scene in the Roosevelt Room in the White House, the day that the Affordable Care Act finally passed the House. It's probably very familiar to everybody watching, everyone in that room nervously watching the screen really quiet, waiting for that final vote to come in. Then everyone erupts in cheers. The president hugs the vice president, high fives all around. And all of that is what passing major legislation you're really proud of looks like. In a normal administration, you kind of have to wonder if and when Donald Trump's big, ugly bill passes the House and reaches his desk. Will there be hugs and high fives? Will they celebrate like the Obama team did on that day in 2010? Will they put out a video of it? I raised that question because of what Donald Trump did today. Is any sort of a guide. It seems like he'd rather be talking about pretty much anything else. I mean, today, after the Senate voted to rip health care away from millions of Americans, Trump departed D.C. for a different, greater than kind of swamp. Greater than of sorts his new Florida tent prison for immigrants, the one he calls Alligator Alcatraz, and is literally selling merchandise around as well, which is gross. He spent the day touring cages in a makeshift tent, instead of focusing on the only major legislation he has put forward. Greater than in his greater than second term, the signature legislation that his biggest supporters in Congress claim is basically his legacy. And it wasn't like he didn't have any opportunities to talk about the big ugly bill along the way. I mean, every chance he got, every chance he stopped to talk to reporters. But he was always focused on something else, like when he departed for Florida and casually mused, just casually to a tabloid journalist about deporting and bankrupting his biggest campaign donor. Greater than I don't know, I think you have to take a look. We might have to put those on Ellen, you know. Doge's the monster that might have to go back and eat. Ellen, wouldn't that be terrible? Greater than wouldn't that be terrible? It's quite a visual. I mean, I guess at least Trump's admitting that Doge's a monster. That's one takeaway from that. But it didn't stop there. When Trump finally got to Florida, he took several questions. Lots of questions from right-wing reporters, not about his signature legislation, but about which Democratic officials he'd like to throw in jail. Greater than your message to communists. Greater than well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country. Greater than former DHS. Greater than Secretary Mayorkas. Why hasn't he been arrested yet? Greater than well, I take a look at that one, because what he did it's beyond incompetence. So take a look at it. It's a very good question, actually. Thank you. Greater than what overwhelmingly unbiased questions from that press corps. I just have to note. But it was like that all day. Now, Trump did actually address the big ugly bill when he was asked directly about it, but it's very clear he wanted to talk about pretty much anything else when given the chance. I mean, he talked about how alligators make good cops because you don't have to pay them. Obviously, he talked about deporting U.S. citizens, complained about the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Again, he rambled on about basically everything but his big ugly bill. Even the proverbial kitchen sink. Greater than the other night. You buy a house, they have a faucet in the house, Joe. And the faucet. The water doesn't come out. You have a shower head, the shower doesn't. The shower doesn't. You think it's not working. It is working. You have to stand in the shower for 20 minutes before you get the soap out of your hair. When you wash your hands, you turn on the faucet. No water comes out. You're washing, the water barely comes in. And washing machines, the washing machine, they give you like a quarter of this bottle to do your clothing. The dishwashers, that was the other one. They give you like this much water right up to there. It sounds crazy. It's a little things. The straw. I was tired of having straws melt in my mouth, you know. Greater than the old water pressure and straw obsessions. Age-old ones. He likes to go back to them, I mean, but there's a reason Trump spent the day complaining about water